Hello, leaders. This is Jason Graziani. Welcome to our channel, Leader for Life. Today, we're going to be continuing our journey on choosing to become a leader for life. And we're going to be doing so by talking about principle number 6, which is demonstrating strength and resolve during uncertain times. Now, as I mentioned the phrase strength and resolve, I think back to the times that I've heard that in history. And the first that comes to my mind is during 9/11. And after 9/11 terrorist attacks, which was terrible for the country, and God bless the men and women that lost their lives on that day and their families, I remember our president coming on stage, and I don't remember which message that it was, but I remember when he said, President Bush, that we're going to show strength and we're going to show resolve. And I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into that here today. On a lighter note, I also think of the movie Karate Kid. And recently, we just took our entire team, rented a movie theater, and watched the original Karate Kid inside the movie theater. And it's an amazing movie. And it reminds me about how often we as people don't believe in ourselves. And we don't believe in our ability. And sometimes another leader or another coach has to kind of bring something out of us. And when Mr. Miyagi brought the best out of Daniel-san, and he said, Daniel-san, you have strong root. Now time, let out. And I apologize to all my friends out there for my lack of ability to act in parts, but I think you get my point. When he was talking about strong root, what he was saying was that Daniel-san had inner strength. He had resolve inside. And I'm going to go a little bit deeper into it. And when he talked about that, that's how I believe that we all are. But I think that sometimes we need to be reminded of it. I think of one of my favorite Bible verses, Philippians 4:13, which says, I could do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I remember Tim Tebow having his eye patches in the football games, and it said Philippians 4:13. And why am I referencing these? Before I dive deeper into it, I want to show you a couple books that could help you out. First is Overcoming Tough Times. Now, this is a biblical devotional. There are several of them out there. You find one that fits your preference. But this one, Overcoming Tough Times, would really help you out in finding that inner strength, that inner resolve. This book called The Inner Game of Tennis, especially for you competitors out there, business people out there, ambitious people out there. This book right here, this one's going to help you on the mental side of being strong. Not having physical strength, but having mental strength. And then finally, random book recommendation that I'm not making to everybody, but there's a book called Everybody Lies. Well, that's not positive, Jason. Why would you tell us about everybody lying? Here's why. Because in choosing to be a leader for life, you're going to have to deal with and work with people. And I want you to know something. The words and the actions of people typically are not congruent to what they say they do and say. Let me explain. What people actually say and what they actually do is very different than what they say they think and they say they do. And so rather than picking groups to marginalize, I don't want to do any of that. All of us, me included, we tend to not be congruent with our thoughts and our actions. And so knowing that up front, you should just know going in that many people are going to disappoint you. Many people are going to frustrate you, but we're going to love them anyways. We're going to love them anyways in this journey to be a leader for life. And so let me give you 3 definitions of strength, okay? Definition of strength, inner strength, integrity of character. That's the first one, the integrity of your character. Next, ability to withstand stress and pressure. Ability to withstand stress and pressure. And finally, mental resistance to doubt and discouragement. Mental resistance to doubt and discouragement. Let me give you a definition of resolve. When you hear the word resolve, what does that exactly mean? Well, determination and willpower is what it means as a noun. But as a verb, what it specifically means is to find a solution. And so let me tell you the times that you're going to feel uncertain. Because remember, it's demonstrating strength and resolve during uncertain times. Let's take a look at certain times versus uncertain times. Birth of someone, that's certain. Death, uncertain. Marriage, divorce, healing, disability and sickness. Getting the job is certain, that's for sure. Yes, we got the job. Losing your job, uncertain. Good economy, bad economy. Formed partnership. Yes, we're together, we've got a partnership. Collapsing partnership. Oh gosh, what's gonna happen? Our partner, it's not working out. Peace and tranquility, certain. Fighting and wars, whether it's in your household, your country, or countries fighting countries. This is all very uncertain. Your team winning, your team losing. Love in the air, fear in the air. Your heart cannot be filled with love and fear at the same time. It's either going to be filled with love and it's either going to be filled with fear. More on that in a moment. Finally, spiritually connected. You always feel good when you're spiritually connected. Spiritually disconnected, I feel lost, I feel lonely. This is uncertain times. So Jason, how do I increase my ability to show strength and to show resolve during uncertain times? I get the uncertain times. I get the definition of strength and resolve, but how do I get better? I'm going to give you 5 points. Number 1, do the right thing. Doing the right thing, saying the right thing, doing the right thing is always the right thing. In fact, if I draw on principle number 1, is the way that you treat people. Look back at our episode on treating people, always treating people right. And actually, I'm going to forecast another principle that we're coming out with. Principle number 7 is speaking up for what's right, even if it's inconvenient. And so if you speak up for what's right and you do what's right, no matter when it is, it's always right. That'll give you confidence. Number 2, believe that love always conquers fear. I referenced earlier that your heart can have love in it or it can have fear in it. It can never have both. And at times when we have fear drip into us, just like if I was to take my coffee here, and if it was water and not coffee, and I dropped ink into it, it would fill the cup with an ink color. And that's what fear does to our heart. Happens to me too. It's not that I don't have fear, and it's not that fear doesn't jump into my heart as well. It's just that I know, because I've made a decision before the emotional state of fear that I would be in. I made a decision that, Jason, if you feel fear, it is dominating you, but there's an important but. Love will beat fear. It's my job to insert love into my heart to drive the fear out. That's number 2. Number 3, get experience being around decision makers. Whoever you're around, take the top 5 people you spend the most time with. Do your best to start changing those 5 people to being people that make decisions in their life, whether it's profit organizations, nonprofit, churches, hospitals, any groups, congregations, people that have to make decisions that affect the lives of other individuals. You'll start watching how they process and how they make decisions. And ultimately, wisdom could be gained one of 2 ways. You could either gain wisdom from your own personal experience, which is great but takes time, or you could gain wisdom through the experience of others. It's not as good as your own personal experience, but it's faster. And so by watching other people go through things, you could then improve your game. Number 4, have a process to approach conflict. Actually, in principle number 9 that we're coming out with here in the next few weeks, you're going to have an opportunity to see us talk about processing issues with an open mind and an open heart. And so here, if you have a process, what you could do is you could lean on the process even if you feel that you're in tested waters, even if you feel like you're in the middle of a storm. You could lean on the fact that you have a process to solve these issues and conflicts because it was based in logic, not emotion. Which leads me to number 5, which is the most important of all of them. Even if you forget the first 4, even if you just turned on the video and you didn't even watch the beginning, I strongly encourage you to watch the whole thing, but even if you only see this part, just know this. Number 5, overcome tough times. What do you mean overcome tough times? You do it. The more obstacles you overcome, the more experience and wisdom you will gain. You have to know this, and I'm going to say this in many of our videos, but you're either currently in a storm, or you just came out of a storm, or unfortunately, you're about to go into a storm. None of these videos are going to avoid the storms, but these videos are going to make sure that your storm has less of an impact in your life because you're going to be better equipped to handle the storm. And so I'm going to leave you with 2 quotations as we wrap up this video here today. The first was given to me when I was 19 years old by an anonymous source. I say anonymous because I was sitting in a classroom and it was a fellow classmate that I did not know. And she said one sentence and I never saw her again. But that sentence, I believe in my heart, was used by God to be given to me in a moment when my life was in a tough spot. Financially, I was worried. School, I was completely terrified. I didn't know if I could compete. Oh, my mom was sick. I was dealing with other life emergencies, and it seemed like everything was just coming down on me. I wasn't reading books. I definitely wasn't a leader. I was just trying to get through it. I was just trying to maintain, and I was in a really tough spot. And if you're listening to this right now and you feel the same way, watch what I'm about to tell you. I was sitting in a classroom. I don't remember the teacher, professor, or anything because I was just in a bad place. And I remember a girl sat down and was talking to a group, and she just said out loud, she goes, "Hey guys, just remember this. Things always turn out good in the end. So if things aren't good, it's not the end. All right. And literally, I don't know what they continue to talk about, but in my mind, I went like this. Things always turn out good in the end. So if things aren't good, it's not the end. And I was so fired up. I was like, I wish I could go tell that person, thank you for telling me that at that time in my life, because I needed to hear it. I needed to know that things always turn out good in the end. So if things aren't good, it's not the end. And that's true for you too. That is true for you too. And the final quotation I'll give you was by a gentleman named Billy Graham. Billy Graham is credited for baptizing hundreds of thousands, if not even into the millions of people worldwide. And this individual said this. He said, God can't use you mightily until you've been crushed deeply. God cannot use you mightily until you've been crushed deeply. And when I say that, and when I hear that, that just inspires me on the inside, because I know that if we continue to go through, I know that if we overcome tough times together, that God has never given us more than we can handle. So we're always going to get through it. Okay, things always turn out good in the end. And if I'm being prepared to be used mightily later, that means today I need to go through some experiences that crush me deeply. And I tell you this, if this material helped you out, if this content helped you out, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Subscribe to Leader for Life now. If you have a comment to make to us, if you've got some suggestions and some feedback, first of all, share the content with your friends. Find this video right now and share this to somebody that needs to feel this information right now. And let us know so that our leadership team could begin working on the video right away with the suggestion that you need in your life. So if you're going through this and you're like, hey, I'm deciding to be a leader, I need some direction, and I've got some specific questions, let us know. We're going to jump on that immediately here. And I want you to know, as far as Leader for Life signing off to you live now, I want you to take care. God bless. And we'll see you at the top. Make sure to choose to be a leader for life today. Bye-bye, guys.